What a gorgeous day. I'm gonna go out and take some photos today. What gear should I bring? Let's see. Sony. Wow, it's kind of big. It's a lot going on there. Maybe just go to ZV1. Pretty good. But I don't know. Maybe want to get a little wet. Let's see the GoPro 9. Oh, the GoPro 10. Dude, I heard that has better photos than the 9. Yeah. Yes. Screw these guys. We're going with the 10 because the GoPro is a photographic machine right here, buddy. Let's get into this. Welcome back and welcome to a bright and sunny, beautiful day. Rocking the DJI Pocket 2 with the ND filter. But today is about GoPro 10. Welcome to Scott's Reviews. This is Scott. Hey, take a second and subscribe and like down below. If you subscribe right now, I promise good luck and good fortune. So you should do that, like right now, like now. You've seen a number of videos online of the GoPro 10 so far. So when I looked into doing a review of the 10, I'm like, well, I can't compare it to the 9. Everyone's done that before. What else is there to do?
Photo challenge.
Photos. So let's touch on photos with the GoPro. Not something you normally do. You're not something you normally like, yes, I'm gonna go today, I'm gonna go take a whole bunch of pictures, I'm gonna grab my GoPro and just go at it.
I like these. These are good. Very classic.
This feels incredibly wrong.
We're going to want these, Brian. Believe me. You can't see my nipples, can you?
This is more of the, always to me, it's always been like after the fact. So I have the GoPro, I'm at a pool, I'm on vacation or wherever. I'm gonna get some photos now. Oh yeah, I'll just use this. I'm in the water, works out. And they take interesting photos, different ones you can't normally get from other style of cameras. Let's see what you can get out of this little guy. I got some photos with some flowers. I'm gonna go take some pictures here in a minute outside with this good sun and an indoor pool. So I don't wanna waste your time. This is gonna be a long kind of, I wouldn't say too much pixel peeping, but some pixel peeping of photos on my computer. If you wanna dive into it kind of deeper, if you're really interested in the 9 versus the 10 and photos and what you can get out of it. Let me give you the down and dirty, and then you can watch the rest if you want to, if you're really into it, or you can just move on to the next one. So,
hey, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
GoPro 10, GoPro 9, I don't find much difference between the two when it comes to photos. If there is any, it's very minute and small, that it's not even worth mentioning. What I did find interesting was there's a GoPro Quick app from my computer, which they moved away from. I still have it, I still use it, I like it, kind of organizes my files. They went away from that, and they're using the GoPro Player now with GoPro. And that's basically a tool just to kind of view your videos, get some snapshots also, whatever else, edit some stuff. Let's first talk about the Quick application. So I go in and I grab a photo from the 9 video at 4K 30, and we're talking about 3 megabytes, roughly. That's a little bit high, but around there. When it comes to the 10, we're talking about 1.5 to 2 megabytes.
Let me do a voiceover right here. Basically, when you take photos with the GoPro 9 versus the 10, right out of the camera, I tend to have a higher megapixel count in the 9 versus the 10. And then also with the 2 applications, it seems like the 9 is producing a higher level of megapixel file than the 10. That's it, which is interesting.
Long story short, I don't find much difference in the photos. I mean, they're not great photos anyway, but it's not like you can like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and get the 10 because I do take photos with my GoPro and I wanna go ahead and get the best I can get. So that's another bonus for the GoPro 10. I'm not seeing that right now. If you see something different, if you're taking photos and you're like, absolutely, this is what you're doing wrong, leave it in the comments below, let me know, and I'll improve my game. But other than that, watch the rest of the video. If you want to dive in a little bit more and see what you think, let me know below, and have a good one.
All right, let's do some photos, and let's look and capture one and see what we can see. Difference between the 9 and the 10, if there's any difference. So first up, this is a super photo shot at very close distance on a wide. I say I was probably like 3 inches away or 4 inches away from the flower. And we'll go ahead and punch in on the flower. That looks incredible. Can you tell? Definitely worth the difference. Sorry, I'm just kidding. Try to match them up a little bit here. So we're taking a few seconds apart. Anything in here, guys, that you see that one says way better than the other? If you don't know already from looking at my screen before, can you guess which one is which? The camera's not really liking this pink. It's not focusing on well on there. Let's look at the rocks in the background. Sometimes it's easier to tell from a little bit farther back. What do you think? I'm not seeing anything really. This cord looks a little bit better over here than this cord, maybe. I mean, really, what are we talking about here? I think we're trying to split hairs, but that's what we're trying to do. This is how close I can pull it. I still can't see much of a difference. So let's back out and look at the overall picture. They both look mostly the same to me. And let's look at some of the numbers. All right, so ISO is lower on this one. Shutter speeds are different. The camera decided to do something different on both of these shots. All right, let's just show you. This is the GoPro 10 and this is the GoPro 9. I'm noticing that the GoPro 10 likes to shoot at a lower ISO on all of these pictures. I'll say it's probably a number of times when I make this, but that is what I've been seeing right now. It's not by much, but it's by some. All right, but this is super photos. Let's move on. We're wasting time. You got places to be. You got other reviews to go watch. This is your HDR photo. This is the 10, and this is the 9. Let's zoom out. Let's go bigger. Not much. Again, I can't see anything too. Maybe you can see it better than I can, but does one look better than the other? Or the normal? And then we'll get to the raw. Well, the raw, I'm going to go ahead and edit the raw after and see what I can come up with. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Again, 10, 9. Punch into this flower. It's not as bright as it was before. The last one is the raw. And I don't quite. If you understand how GoPro does their raw, because normally when you do a raw photo, it's a lot larger file. There's no difference with GoPro. And it comes out as a JPEG. So I shoot a raw photo, but it comes out as a JPEG. That makes a lot of sense. All right, I'm going to come back real quick, do an edit on both of these and see what I can do with it. I just did some edit to it, kind of darken the background a little bit. Played around with contrast, saturation, clarity to give it a different look. I think they're pretty much indistinguishable between the two, even after playing around with it. A little bit more in here where it's not as kind of blended together. I don't even remember which one is which is good. No bias. Okay, we're both not focusing on the foreground. We're mostly on the background, which is typical for GoPro. Now let's punch into the back area. I have it both on vibrant and GoPro colors, so it should be the same color. Should. Doesn't mean you can't tweak it to get it where you want to. Let's look at the detail and which one is coming out cleaner. You can see right here, oops, sorry, they're kind of both out of focus the same. Is it one better than the other? Don't see it. Back out. A little bit. We get a little more focus. I mean, it's so close. All right, let's go ahead and just say who's who. So we have the GoPro 9 on the left and the GoPro 10 on the right. Again, we have the 9 and then the 10. Let's go all the way in. About the same. I mean, it's the same sensor. So what do you expect? No, I really can't say. And one more, which is the last one from this set, the Sky Shot. This again will be the 9 and the other one's 10. We have the same, a little bit less on the 10 with the glare, the lens reflect. I got my finger in the way on that one. What do you do? Punch in here. I don't think there's much to go on unless we look at this. Maybe a little more color, that's all, on the 9. The GoPro color is a little bit stronger than the Vibrant it might be. You can always tweak that. Alright. Next test will be photos grabbed from 5.3K versus 5K. Here are the photos from a screen grab. Now what I noticed here was they were pretty much close this time, the same in JPEG. But I did film in 5K.3 on the 10 and 5K on the 9. The 10 was actually on natural color, so I either messed that up or this is a good example of the natural versus GoPro color. You can see the difference right now. It seems to be like a little more. Well, the skin tones are different, definitely. All right, let's go ahead and pump in on these two. I definitely like the skin tones better on the 9. Maybe it just shows less. I don't know. It's just more appealing. This is a little too bright. Probably overexposed. It looks like. Yeah, obviously the sky is a lot bluer on the GoPro color versus the natural. Just looking at the detail, guys. Just looking at the detail of the stitching. Here's the 10 and here's the 9, and you can just kind of see from this there's not too much difference. Now the angle's different, so it might be a little bit brighter right here, but it's kind of a good example that just showing you there's not that much difference in detail when it comes to these, since this is pretty much the same sensor. Oh, let me show you the other one of the frog before we move on. I haven't looked at these either. I'm just doing it now. 10's up top, 9's on the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and punch in on that frog, as I was hoping to get a better shot of. Bring it down, bring it up. Yeah, same guys. I mean, really. Look at the pink in here. All right, let me play with them and just let you see that real quick. A little bit of edit, and let's look at what we got. Just playing around with the exposure, saturation, pumped up a little bit more on the 10 to kind of match the 9. Not really too as orangey, but it kind of your taste. Try to bring down some of that overexposure, but didn't really get that close. Skin tone wise, I prefer this look. It looks less like you can see other wrinkles and splotchiness here where it kind of smooths it out here. And this is the 9 down here, right? Let's look at the hand. If I could take some of this exposure, I really got overexposed. I don't know if I can fix that. If I can take some of this out, if you're interested or not. No. All right, we're gonna do some underwater shots with the GoPro 10 and 9. First up is Super Photo. I won't tell you right away which one's which, but let's just punch in here at the end. this looks cleaner over here. I don't know, because it's darker, if it looks cleaner. I do like the shot overall of this one with the colors. Now, how it was set was the 9 was set at GoPro color, and I used natural for the 10. So, which one do you think is which? This image on the left is the GoPro 9, the GoPro 10. We can look at our ISOs, how it came out, pretty darn close. The 10 is going to go for a lower ISO, which is going to reduce some of that noise, but give you a little more of a darker image. Maybe that's how they're getting by with a little of a better image, is have the camera calculate a lower ISO. But because their megapixels are pretty darn close to being the same. Alright, so that is super photo. Let's go into the HDR shot. Again, the 9 and then the 10, and let's make it bigger. This is the 9 and this is the 10. And this is the complete opposite from the last one. Let's punch in it at the end. Yeah, these cameras are pretty much the same thing. So this looks grainier at the other end. See, it's just a little more smoother looking. I like the water, just the way the water hits around here better with a little bit lighter. Let's check out the ISO, what it did. Alright, again, higher ISO just by a tad over the 10. So it's still continuing with a trend of a lower ISO on the 10. So that is HDR photo. Let's move on to our standard. When you first look at it, this is going to catch your eye with the colors, and this is a little bit lighter. We can go at the other end again. Man, I mean, if you didn't know which camera was which, I don't think you could ever really figure it out. All right, let's look at the ISOs again. This is the 9. Of course, this is the 10. Yep, everything else is still the same, but the ISO is lower. And this is more. This is in GoPro color. This is in natural, and definitely you see it here, but in some photos you don't. And the final one we'll do is the raw, both in wide. Here's the 9. Here's the 10. The 9 looks better on this one. Maybe it's the GoPro color. So let's take the raw and see what I can do with it by making it look somewhat good. So I'll stop and I'll come back. This is a 9. This is a 10. Played around with them a little bit. Increased the saturation. Brought up some of the Kelvin. A little bit of the clarity. But let's go ahead and pump into the other end. So I don't see really anything to scream at me to say that one is better than the other for detail and clarity. Otherwise, that 3 megapixel difference in the I think it's the same darn sensor, but of how they could say it's a little bit better. But you be the judge. Let's see if I can punch in on that on this spot right here. One's darker than the other. I guess you're getting a little bit more, but it's nothing to, what they say, write home about. Again, GoPro photos are not something that you run out and buy a camera for a GoPro to take photos. It's more of, have it with me, we're underwater, oh yeah, I can use my GoPro to take a photo. It should be pretty cool. So it's a last ditch effort to get that shot of whatever's under the water or wherever you're at, because most cameras can't go where GoPros go. Okay, that's the underwater shots. Back to you in the studio. Something interesting here I found. GoPro 10 talked about when you capture photos within a quick app. I can go into the video here, use this button here to grab a photo. Let's say I just want to capture something like that. Hit the button and then it would save a photo from that picture. Right. So let's go back. I want to show you the megapixel count, which I was surprised of. So if I go to show finder, this is the GoPro 9. This is that photo, which is a grab 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, and then the average photo when you take it from the camera is around 8 or 9 megabytes normally. This is the 9. So they talked about the 10 improving with these picture grabs. So let's just look at the 10 here. And these are the grabs I got from this one, and we're at 1.8, 2, 2, and 2. So the megapixel count is down on the 10. I don't know if it's something to do with the Quick app that's no longer being used, but that's what I'm finding right now. All right, so this is my wonderful big fat face under the water. Right here as a grab from, so obviously it's the 10 taking a picture of the 9. This is the 10, and I'm going to jump over just real quick. This is the 9 of a similar photograph. I was holding both cameras at the same time, about the same distance away. And just a little darker in the 9. We can kind of crop in here. You never want to crop into a GoPro photo. Look at the hairs, pretty messy. And the back of the pool. Not great light in here, but it's decent for a pool. This is the 9. It looks cleaner on this photograph. This. The 9, and that's the 10. 9, 10, 9, 10. It's like, again, it's like going to the eye doctor. All right, let's look at the side of the face right here. This is the 10. This is the 9. 10, 9, 10, 9. All right, let's go over another example. It's me about to drop the 10. It's going to zoom in here. That looks pretty clean. Nice good view of the 10. I like the dark colors, the contrast. I like this photo. It's not good. It's blurry. Maybe because the lighting is different. So maybe not a good example, but so far I'm liking the photos coming from the 9 better than the 10. What? That makes no sense. About 3800 to 2100. And then let's jump over about the same. Actually, exactly the same. 38, 21. And so I went into GoPro Player down here, this little symbol here. And this is a new way to capture your photos within Player. And from here, I went ahead and grabbed photos from the 10 and the 9. And then we look over and you can see, well, this is even smaller. The 9s are around 700 and the 10 is grabbing around 4, 5, 6. I'm coming up with a bigger file coming from the 9 and versus the 10. Now, they both were filmed in 4K 30, so it's not a matter of frame rate. So I'm not sure what's up with that. I want to go and look at a couple of the photos from the GoPro Player Quick Grab. Not even 1 megabyte. So around 700 for the 9 and around. So here's obviously the 9 taking a picture of the 10. Probably GoPro color is what's happening on the 9, and the new natural color is happening on the 10. These are 9 photos, of course, taking a picture of the 10. This is the 10 there's the 9. I'm really not seeing where the 10 is rocking better photos than the 9 when you quick grab. I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing it in the file size, number 1, and then the results, number 2. Nothing really stands out to me. And that's just my opinion. Alright, that was your photo look into and comparison. Next up will be some video stuff. If you got any things you want me to do you haven't seen yet from other folks, let me know. Have a good one. This was shot on the Pocket 2.